Greetings, astronauts. Zag here, otherwise known as Last on the Scoreboard. Relax, sit back, and put your moon boots up. We're in Megavlog territory, and this one's a doozy. It's been about 3 major updates since our last vlog, so as usual, a little recap is due. And then on to the new stuff. And there is so much new stuff. For those who are unfamiliar with Unfortunate Spacemen, the main shapeshifter mode is based around deception and murder. One of the players is a shapeshifting space monster who sets out with only one goal: kill all of the other players, our hard-working spacemen. It's got horror, it's got humor, and it's a blast with your friends. We've also got 2 co-op modes, but we'll talk about those later in the vlog. Let's recap the latest 2 most major updates before we get to today's update. I'll try to make this pretty quick. If you want the nitty-gritty details, you can always check out the extensive patch notes, link below, on the Steam forums, and on the blog at unfortunate.space. First up, the Containment update, released on July 6th. Previously, when using a health station, you were locked in until the healing process finished. Now you can press jump to exit at any time. Previously, when shoving someone off a ledge, you weren't credited with their murder. Now you are. The same goes for EME shoves and airlocks. If you armed an airlock, you are the murderer of anyone who gets flung out of it. Lens flare was decreased slightly because apparently you can have too much lens flare in space. Nobody told J.J. Abrams, apparently. As you may know, the health station screen gets all messed up when used by the monster. So now the monster can hack health stations by pressing N to place a remote arm. When the station is used, it'll make it so the screen goes all crazy, as if that person is the monster. Use this for maximum tomfoolery. New weapon, the company SMG. It's light, it's tight, and it's okay in a fight. It's a very fun bullet hose, but doesn't do too much damage. If anything, it's a nice alternative to the handgun, and it can zoom in too. New map, Containment. The Crewmarians have cleared out. Who else but you to clean up the cleanup crew's mess? Nick and I converted the opening area of Co-op 1 into a shapeshifter map. As of today's update, this map has received its quote, final, end quote, pass, and should play really well now. It's different from what you experienced in co-op, and many paths and structures are changed or moved about. Enjoy the chill of this snow-swept fortress. You can now manually overheat your weapons by pressing the R key. Let's be clear here, I've invented reloading. I'm basically the Tim Willits of reloading. That's it for the Containment update. Let's move on to the next large update. 16 days later, we released the update dubbed Focal Plane. The largest change was the addition of new end-round screens. The monster, employee of the month, and your own spacemen show up here, along with some cool stats. We've got victory poses planned as well, so at some point players can pick what their character does on these screens. You know, like dabbing. Oh, God help us. There's now a kick and ban system so that hosts can better control who is allowed into their game. Have fun giving toxic space lads the boot. Speaking of kicking, as you may know, when you kick the bucket, aka die a horrible death, you become a ghost, and you can wander around haunting people and flickering lights. To help ghosts better follow the action, we've updated the HUD to show more information about what's going on. All the perks now show exact percentages and values instead of vague terms like increased. It will actually show you how much it increases it by. The monster was having trouble getting away from spacemen, so we added fall-off damage on most weaponry. If you're shooting at something a ways away, damage significantly decreases. This varies on a per-weapon basis, of course. Last for the Focal Plane update, we overhauled 2 maps that were proving to be a little difficult for the monster to gain traction on. Gardens received a huge overhaul. Tons more walls, staircases, and escape routes for the monster. Spacebar, pretty much the same. We added more walkways to the upper area, as well as some monster-only pathways for easier ambushes and escapes. Oh, and the monster can eat key cards now. Mostly because it's really funny. After Focal Plane was released, we released one more update which completely retooled the monster in terms of health, damage, and some other things like that. But all of that update is irrelevant now because of today's update, which we're dropping into right now. The monster is a whole new beast, and the most fun I've ever had playing as monster. Welcome to 0.2.29, the Core Labs, the 29th build since we reached beta. Holy space cow. Get ready to rip and tear. The monster has received a massive overhaul. Maddock and I put our heads together to make this happen, giving us an entire brain to work with. First, the monster only gains health regeneration as it levels up during a round. Overall, the monster has higher base health, higher regeneration, increased damage, new animations, new sounds, new abilities, and its primary claw attack is now a wide sweep of death. If you weren't afraid of the monster before, you will be now. But don't forget that an organized team of spacemen can take you down pretty quick, so you can hide by burrowing or by using the new vent system. If the monster is in their monster form, they can crawl into the ventilation system and travel around the map, watching, waiting, and ambushing as they see fit. The monster can't be seen or killed while inside the vents, but an occupied vent will give off some subtle tells to the wary spaceman. Next, for our lore-loving drone-blasting spacemen, the co-op mode has received the second story mission, a continuation of our cleanup crew's journey after the events of the first mission, Wharfage. Introducing Co-op 2, the Core Labs, chock full of lore and that blasty goodness you know and love. Group up with up to 6 players total and make your way through. This mission is sure to answer some of your questions about the company and maybe present a few new ones.
Bet you're wondering where you are, huh?
Enjoy the latest addition to the Spacemen saga and some nice quality of life updates to co-op in general.
Oh my god.
For players new and old, there's now a practice range available under the Learn menu. Feel free to plop right down into this practice range. Having trouble with a weapon? Want to learn more about how vents work? This is a great place to do it. It's got just about everything you need to learn game mechanics and practice your skills, complete with live targets to plink away at. I believe this means we now have more features than PUBG. As of this update, all overhead maps have been improved for readability to match a unified style. Along with that, we've also added oxygen markings to pretty much every door and structure in the game. Navigating complex maps will be easier than reading this script. Except title lock, you're pretty much on your own there. There's a new, free, unlockable helmet which you get at rank 11. It looks like this. That's it. There's nothing else to add to that. Why are we still in this segment? There's now a big fat green text in the upper left when the shuttle has arrived, because everyone was missing it. No longer! There are multiple new first-person animations, primarily the shove animation. Shoving also makes a different, quieter noise if you miss, so you can't get called out as easily for being tricky. Oh, and before I forget, we put in some stuff for dedicated servers. We don't have dedicated servers up yet for the public, but we're currently in testing, and the code is mostly in place. So that's very exciting. If you're looking to host dedicated servers, we'll let you know what to do when the time comes. The LMG has received a big overhaul. We felt the LMG was both useless and overbearing at the same time. Figure that one out. The fix, of course, was to slow down its fire rate and make it a bit more accurate. Now it packs a real punch, but it still takes a second of firing to become accurate. It should now be usable as we've always intended, a large suppression weapon that everyone runs away from. Spacemen make a bit more noise when receiving damage. They sometimes yelp and oof and ow. And one more major tell, my personal favorite, Spacemen will now scream when ejected into space. And this can be heard from almost anywhere on the map. Next time you hear an airlock open or a drop bridge fall, listen carefully. You might also hear its victim. Oh, still here? Man, this is a long dev vlog, but worth it. Check this part out. The Space Milk perk has changed. Previously, upon taking lethal damage, you would teleport out into space, and then teleport back, sometimes into an emergency mass ejector. This was not fun, and required Spacemen with Space Milk to also run mag boots and blast shield in order to survive this random event. Now, the Space Milk perk can no longer teleport you into an emergency mass ejector. As a trade-off, you now return with half your maximum health as before, permanently handicapping you for the remainder of the round. The goal here is to ensure all players use more diverse loadouts and not simply have one perk to rule them all. Oh, and the suitcase nuke now has a 15-second fuse, down from a 21-second fuse. And on that bombshell, it's time to end. You can join our bustling community at discord.gg/newblood. Check out the LFG channels for Spaceman games. We have community games every Wednesday and Saturday, and some of our community peeps run games too. Shout out to Tuesday with a 3 for helping me out and running loads of games. I've hooked him up with a little gift, he just doesn't know it yet. Nobody tell him. And another shout out to my man Marketoff for his wonderful Spaceman fan art. As always, you can follow the game on Twitter at @UnfortSpaceman. Me, aka Zag, aka the lead dev guy, at Geoff Keene. Nick, our level design dude, at Real Rogus. Connor, our artistic art and animation man, at Maddock. And the High Lord meme master, Dave, at Dave Oshry. And with that, I'll see you in space, astronauts. In space, we in fact can hear people scream. A lot. There's a lot of screaming, to be honest.